Hello everybody, today's video is on taking long exposure waterfall photos for beginners. Behind the scenes with a beginner. Today's photo shoot, I recommend a tripod, a remote shutter release, and neutral density filters. So it looks like I found my first little waterfall. It was just a small one, but anyone will do for an example. So I was taking a little bit of time trying to set everything up. So I start with just taking a base photo of the waterfall for a comparison. The photo I end up getting is at 100 ISO, f11, and 1/30th of a second. So to get the long exposures, some people say that you can do it if you time yourself and get there either dusk or dawn, so that way there's as little sunlight as possible, and then you can get that long exposure. I, on the other hand, just go the cheap route, and I go and buy a neutral density filter. I bought a 4-pack for like $10, so it's not really that expensive. You can find them on Amazon by all sorts of third parties. So the first couple shots that I took, I was trying to use my finger to click the button, which was a big no-no. That's why I recommend that you bring the shutter release, because as you could tell, it came out pretty blurry. So now I go through and I put the shutter release on so that way I can actually take a crisp shot. I only showed you 2, but I took like 10 of them and I couldn't get it to come out clear, and then I was like, oh, you know why? It's because I'm clicking the button with my finger. So after I put the shutter release on, one snap, I got a perfect shot. I loved it. That was it. So, and if anybody wanted to know, that one was shot at ISO 100, f29, and a 1-second shutter release. So, okay, well, now I'm tracking my way up to where I took the rest of my shots. So, sorry the camera started to get a little foggy on the sides. I didn't realize that while I was shooting. Okay, well, I've arrived at my next location to take photos. I like this little spot. It had a couple little waterfalls in a row that you could see. So I set up my camera again here. I'm first going to start off by taking just another photo without a filter on, just to have a base photo to compare all of my filters to. When you're taking photos yourself, you don't have to go and take a base shot like I did, but I definitely recommend that you find a good picture before you put your filter on, because you're going to need the base measurements to be able to figure out how you're gonna take the photo with the filter on. So, because what I use is a little calculator on my app to tell me how many stops to move the camera when I put the filter on. So for like the next photo, I took with the neutral density 4-stop. So I used the base photo at a 1/3 of a second, and putting that into my calculator, needing to go back 4 stops, I ended up having to take the photo at a 5-second, which actually worked out pretty good. It looked pretty nice. I liked the look of the water, and that's what I was going for. So the next photo I set up for, I use the neutral density 3-stop, which is a neutral density 8. As you can tell, it comes out almost identical. So I mean, I really don't think that the 4-stop's that much worth the buying, because I saw a lot of packages when I was looking at them that were just 1, 2, and 3. I only saw a couple that were including the 4-stop, and really that 4-stop, there's just not that much of a difference to go and actually buy. So I do reposition the camera a little bit because I want to get a closer up shot, so I zoom in more on just one of the waterfalls and get this next photo. With this photo, I did it without a filter, again, so that way I could get a base for doing the calculator in that. That photo was at a 1/2 second, so I put that into my calculator. I go ahead and screw on my first filter. I go to using the 4-stop again. The 4-stop, I ended up having to do an 8-second shutter speed, and here's what that photo came out like. It looks good. I don't like the green at the top. It's too bright and distracting compared to the color level of the rest of the photo. So I realized that after a couple of shots, so I try to reposition again a little bit. I don't take another base one because I'm not moving too far. I just wanted to slide the camera down just a hair bit to cut that green out. Sometimes, you'll catch some of that stuff while you're shooting. Sometimes you won't. You'll just come home and you'll be like, oh my god, that looks horrible. So it's nice if you can catch it while you're there, because then you can get a better shot. So this looks a lot better. That was with the 8-stop, or the 4-stop again at 8 seconds. So, and then I unscrew that filter. I go to move on to my next filter, which is going to be the 3-stop filter. And again, the 3-stop ends up looking quite identical to the 4-stop. Really, if I didn't know which picture was which, I'd almost not be able to tell. The only way I can really tell is by looking at the data, and it was a 4-second shot. So, and I take that filter off and I go on to the next one, which is the 2-stop filter, which is an ND4. I put that one on. You can start to see the difference between the 2-stop and the 3-stop. So there's where there's an actual change. And then I take that filter off and move on to my next filter. The next one I use is the ND 1-stop. And that one's starting to look a lot more like the normal shot. You can't really see the difference. So, and next I decided to go for the Behemoth. I put on the 10-stop. The 10-stop is definitely one I recommend if you're wanting to do any type of daytime shooting. It'll be great for clouds, sun, everything. It's going to cover it all. With the 10-stop, it's going to be a very long shutter speed. So when I put it into my calculator, it said that it was an 8.5-minute shutter speed. So I set up the camera after I put that on, and now I speed up quite a bit here because I was getting really bored standing there for 8 minutes, and I went and was looking to see if I could get to a different position and over the water better, but I didn't really like how it was going to look. So, and after that photo finished taking, it actually took like another 8 to 10 minutes to actually process. But as you can tell, the photo came out fabulous. I loved it. After I took that photo, my camera actually ended up, the video ended up dying. So my battery died, so I couldn't record any more video. But that was the end of what I was out doing. So after that photo, I just packed up and left. So I hope you guys enjoyed that last photo. If you wanted to know, it was 8.5 minutes, f32, and 100 ISO. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope to see you again.